Well, hello friends and family. Want to welcome you to Jim's In Town Gardening and Bella's Legacy Rabbitry. So today we're going to plant peppers. Right now I've got a tray in front of me that I'm going to plant a whole bunch of hot peppers. I'm using the Jiffy Seed Mix, but then afterwards I'm going to use these little peat cells. And I'll show you when I do that. Those I'll probably do the sweet peppers in, only because I'm not going to have as many sweet peppers as I do the hot peppers. So what I've done is a tray I'm working with. Hopefully you can see that. I've got them all labeled in the order that I'm going to do. So I'm going to be planting 6 of the habaneros. These are the hot ones. And then it just goes right down. So I have not moistened the seed at all, or the cells at all. It's just as it came in the bag. What I've done is I've poked little holes. These want to be buried about 1/4 of an inch down. So I'm going to drop a seed in each one of the holes, and then I'll pat it down, and then I'm going to add the water. Now usually it's about 1/2 gallon of water to one of these trays. And after you let it sit for about 5 minutes, you'll see the water. You'll see the top start to get moist. So let me show you, and then I'll show you how I finish it up. I may not show you with every seed that I drop, but just to give you an idea how I do it. Now with the you got to be able to get into the package first. So I put the dry Jiffy Mix in this, and I kind of pounce it down. That will pack it into the bottoms, and then I level it off. I brush the tops off, and then I take a pencil and I poke my hole down through. So I'm going to plant 6 of these habaneros. Now I know a lot of the packages, they'll tell you to drop 2 or 3 in each hole. Many of you have seen what I've done in the past. I have good germination rate usually on my peppers. Sometimes I haven't, but most of the time I do. And I've had good germination doing it this way, but also in the peat pellets. Okay, so there's 6 of those. Now, when you're doing it this way, you want to label, because I'm doing so many of them, you want to label each row. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pat those down. And then I'll go to the next one. And I'll let you know what I'm planting in each one. That was the habanero. Next one is going to be Big Jim chili. And then another habanero blend. Cayenne long slim. Chili jalapeno temprana. I don't know if I'm pronouncing these right. Hot pepper big Thai hybrid, chili poblano, pimento hungaro amarillo. These are all hot. Serrano chili, hot salsa blend, Anaheim chili. I know I've done these in the past and they've done well. And then a jalapeno M. I'll probably do a lot more of the jalapenos. So, like I said, that's what I do all the way down the tray. Each 6. There's 6 going across here. So what are you doing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 different types of hot peppers. So again, 6 seeds, 1 in each hole. Helps when your fingers work well. Now, if you're doing sweet peppers, it would be the same thing. Do it just the same way that I'm doing it here. You know, and if you do choose to dampen your soil, I've done it both ways. You can mix it up, wet it down. And if you do it that way, what you want to do is wet it down so that it, when you pick it up and you squeeze it, you see a couple drops, and that's good. You don't want it so saturated. The other thing is, if you do it that way, wetting it down first, make sure that you go through all that. You don't want clumps, dry clumps in there, because possibly that seed's not going to get as wet as it should be. So I'm going to go down the road. I'm going to get these all planted. And then, like I said, usually it's about a half, 3/4 of a gallon of water. Then I put the dome on it. You can mist the top if you like. I don't usually, when I'm doing it this way. Usually it'll get damp enough up top. Now, the other thing, when I plant my peppers, I don't usually have the light on them until they start emerging. And when I get about half or 3/4, then I'll put them under the light. Usually my peppers, because of the way the seed rack is done, I'll have them on the top shelf, because that's going to be the hottest place in my seed rack. I think they recommend 75, 80 degrees for peppers. So I'll keep the top lights off. They'll be in there. They'll get the heat from the plants that I've got the lights on underneath. Keep an eye on them when you get about half to 3/4 of your seeds emerging. Then turn your lights on. And then probably, usually I wait until I have I'm showing all the leaves on that stem. And then I'll remove the dome, so that they can get the airflow. One of the things you don't want to get is the mold on top of your growing medium. So I'm going to plant, I'm going to start each one of these seeds, and then I'll bring you back. All right, friends, so I've got, this tray is all filled with seeds. I have put some water in. Let me kind of show you. It hasn't soaked up to the top yet. You can probably see I've got them, each row is labeled. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to get ready to plant using those little peat pellets. Now I've already got a tray all ready to go, and I'll explain what I did, only because it takes a while, and I wanted to have everything ready when I did the video. So I'll get that ready, and I'll move this one out, and then before we get done, I'll show you how the top looks on this. That way you can see the difference. You can see that it soaks that water up. And I've done it both ways. I've done, you can watch my past videos, you can see where I've done it dampening the soil before I plant, and I've done it this way. And I have probably about the same germination rate. So give me a minute and I'll be right back. Okay, friends, welcome back. So now I'm going to do those little peat pellets. Now, your tray, let's see if I can show you how that is. Hopefully you'll be able to see. They've got these little slots, and what you do is you take these little discs and you put them in the slot, and then you put water in. I don't remember what actually this might tell, because it's different sizes of these. This would be probably the medium. I know the one that they sell for tomatoes are longer. They're quite a bit taller. They're a little bit thicker. All right, place pellets in watertight tray and add 1.5 inches of warm water. I didn't quite do it that way. I used warm water. I filled it up. I didn't fill it. I added it slow, because one thing that's going to happen when you start adding the water, the pellets are going to try to raise up, and I didn't want to play chasing them around, so I just go slow. Then wait about 15 minutes. Drain all the water that's in the bottom. Just tip your tray over the sink or wherever you are. Drain that excess water out. And then you're ready to plant. So what I do is, hopefully you can see, again, now sometimes you're going to have the tops. You're going to have to mess with that. So just that netting will rip fairly easy. Just kind of get it out of the way and then poke a hole in, however deep you're going. With these, I want to go about 1/4 inch. So with this, I'm going to be doing my sweet peppers. So I'm going to do California Wonders, and I'll show you what I do on this first row, and then now you buy these kits. So you're going to get the tray, you're going to get the pellets, and you're going to get a dome. So follow the steps that I just shared. Instructions are pretty good on it. I mean, it's not rocket science. I would recommend using warm water, and the reason I say that, peppers like warm. I wouldn't do hot, but that way, once you put it wherever you're going to put your tray after to wait for them to germinate, you want that moisture on that dome, so that you got moisture on the top here. You don't want to saturate these things with water. You don't want a whole lot of water. Like, I look down at the bottom and I can't see any. Again, you don't want to get that mildew, that mold on the top. And I have had that before. And a big reason for that was because I didn't keep it in a dark area. I had it lit the way I do almost all my seeds. Well, I found out with peppers, I do much, much, much better if I have them in the dark until they come up. What am I doing here? California Wonders. You need 2. You can't see what I'm doing. All right. So I've got those first 2 rows done. So now what I want to do is make sure that seed's down there. Now what I want to do is just kind of, you can see some of that water right there. Just kind of poke that down, just so that seed is covered good. I don't know how well the camera's picking this up. I don't know how I got introduced. It might have been my mom that introduced me to these. Actually, might have sent me some, have me try them. I don't remember now. All right, that one's got quite a hole, so I'm going to have to get some of that peat down in there. All right, and poke it down. Now, the good thing about these is you can buy the pellets. Like, this was an old tray. This is one I had used back a while ago. So what I did is I picked up, and I know the writing's probably going to be backwards. You can find these at Walmart, or a lot of your, I'm sure you can find them on Amazon, different places. They come in this size, there's a smaller size, and if I can find those, I may end up picking them up to start some of my other things, my smaller seeds. Normally with my tomato plants, I'll go with the next size bigger. And those guys are going to stand up. Oh, these are supposed to be about 1.5 inches tall. Those are probably going to be close to 2.5 inches tall. And I've had very good luck with tomatoes with those. So what I'll do is I'll finish planting these, and then I'll bring it up into the seed rack. Now, like I said, with peppers, I typically keep them in the dark until they start emerging, and then I'll turn the lights on. And after the plants come up and they start that second, or when those top leaves are formed, then I'll take the cover off. When I get about half, 3/4 of them like that, then I take the cover off. That way the air starts getting to it. Now, one thing that you can do with these, now let's say you've got about half of them, and you've got some that still are not doing it. What you could do is take another rack or another seed tray, take the ones that aren't sprouting, and you want to get the light to these, put those in another tray. The only thing, when you're, like how I do it, I've got 2 rows of California Wonder, I've got 2 rows of the Keystone Resistant Giant, 2 rows of the Carnival Blend, 2 rows of the Chinese Giant, and I'll probably end up putting jalapenos in this next one, only because Leanna loves her jalapenos. If you're going to do that, make sure that you mark so you know what kind of pepper you've got. Otherwise, you're going to, especially if you're mixing hot and sweet. So, that's pretty much it. So, these are going to probably take, I think they say 10 to 14 days. Typically, in that seed rack, I'll start having some that are up in 7 days. Normally, I'm not going to say it's what's going to happen this year, but normally, 7 days, I've got some seedlings started. So I will keep you updated on how they're doing. Like I said in the video yesterday, I'm going to really try to share when I'm planning stuff and when I do different things with, like when I top these guys, so you can follow along, and maybe do that for yourselves. Highly encourage everybody to start growing something. We don't know what's going to happen, and I'm not trying to scare anybody, but better be prepared. If you can grow lettuce, you can do that in a windowsill. If you got a deck or a patio, grow some tomatoes, grow some peppers. You can get container size tomato plants. These guys would do good in a container. Grow something for yourself. Get your hands dirty. Friends, I want to thank you so much. Don't forget, hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed, I'd ask you to please subscribe. And love to hear your comments. Love to hear questions, and I'll do my best to answer the questions as soon as I can. Love you all. God bless you.